Hello and welcome to this yoga flow focused on the head, the hips, and the heart. And for class today, I'll be offering it without props. However, you may want to have blocks or something similar to blocks nearby, as well as a towel or a blanket to support underneath the knees. And we'll begin in a grounding position. Whatever that means to you. I'll be taking child's pose, but if there's something else you prefer in your body, please go there. So that can be resting in a seat, or lying on your back, or any other posture that allows you to drop into this space. As you settle in, feel your body grounding down into your mat. Taking a moment to acknowledge and honor the earth below you, the land that you learn and live, and all of the ancestors, their traditions, have walked and tilled this land. And wherever you are, whatever position you are in, you feel into the forehead. Centering your focus on the thoughts coming up in this space. Notice if there's a particular thought, a pattern of thoughts. Noticing without attaching on to whatever comes up in the head, in the mind. Feel into your sit bones, sending the sit bones away from the tip of the head. As you lengthen in through the spine, notice how those thoughts manifest in your physical body. Particularly the sensations in the hips. And as thoughts continue to move in and out, do those sensations in the hips shift and change? And focusing in on the heart center. How do those thoughts and those physical sensations then relay into feelings or emotions? If it's difficult to describe to yourself with a word, maybe a shape, color, image appears instead. A kind reminder that we are a whole self. There's an entire community working within us to present the image of who we are, this sense of being. The more that we observe the connections between the thoughts, the physical body, and our feelings or emotions or attachments, the easier it becomes to unravel and disconnect from those that don't serve us. The anchor of our community is our breath. So let's begin to notice the quality of our breath in this very moment. Noticing at the tip of your nostrils. Sensing its rhythm as it moves in and out. In stillness, can you feel the minor movements that the body makes with each inhale and each exhale? As you connect to this breath, this prana, this life force, perhaps deepening, slowing it down, matching the lengths of the inhales with the lengths of the exhales. And take one more breath together. Deep exhale. Wherever you are, drawing yourself onto your belly, untucking through the toes, letting the elbows walk underneath the shoulders, wrists come in line with the shoulders. And spread the fingers nice and wide. And see if you can wiggle those toes any further back as you hold here in 6. Remembering that my words are guides. And as we move through this flow, honoring your own intuition, modifying, adjusting your body as needed to really feel into those 3 spaces. See if you can spread out through the collarbones. Then root down through the forearms as you lift up through the top of the head. Take an inhale. Exhale, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Moving through the head, we inhale. Draw the chin over to the left shoulder. And exhale, soften back to center. And inhale to the right. Exhale, continuing to flow through the neck. 2 more rounds of breath. Good, and then this time as you move to the left, can you feel the hips heavy towards the mat? And take one more cycle through. Dumping your weight, softening through the glutes. Good, and then exhale, let the chin come down. Inhale, gaze can come just between the thumbs. Take an inhale, lift the tip of the head, and send the heart forward. Maintaining that heaviness through the hips and softness through the glutes. And see if you can snug those shoulder blades a little bit closer together along the back line of the body. We'll stay for one more inhale. As you exhale, press through the hands, take the elbows wide, release all the way down to the floor. Stack your right hand over top of your left, let the forehead rest on top. Taking 3 breaths here, maybe a little more if your pace is faster than mine. Gentle compression of the belly against the mat. Slide the hands underneath the shoulder. Tip up through the toes. Press down through the hands to rise up into a tabletop position. If you're feeling tender through the wrists, you can also move through cat-cow, sitting on your knees instead. Inhale to drop the belly, send the heart forward. As you exhale, tuck the chin and look towards the belly, round the spine for cat. Flowing here. Just feeling that connection from the head to the hips to the heart. If there's any other movements your body would like to make, exploring that. Feel a balance of energy drawing downward through the hands and the knees and the tips of the toes. And also rising up, softening through the shoulders. Taking one more inhale. As you exhale, draw your sit bones back towards the heels. Come to stand on your knees. You can play with toes tucked or untucked, whatever feels best for you. Keeping the sit bones settled, inhale, sweep the hands wide. Touch the fingertips overhead. Gaze can look up if it feels comfortable. Send the chest up. And exhale, bend through elbows, hands through prayer to heart. Release the hands down to the hips. And take another circle up. Maybe finding a gentle back bend, lifting that chest up and forward. This time, option as you draw the hands to heart, tuck the chin and look down. Good. Take 2 more cycles here. And as you move your hands through space, can you feel them float as if they were one with the air around you? No separation of singleness, that connection to the whole. Exhale, hands come to heart. Take an inhale, draw the hips up and forward. Option to adjust the feet, maybe untucking or tucking the toes. Inhale, press the chest in towards the thumb. As you exhale, release the hands down behind you, palms face towards the floor as you sit back onto your heels. Inhale, press the chest up and forward, lift the hands, reach up, maybe lift up. And exhale, pull back and down. And take one more. And exhale, release. Inhale to float all the way up to the top. Exhale, circle the hands wide. Release them down to the floor, maybe around the spine, finding tap. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. Plant the hands, maybe taking them slightly wider. Tuck the toes. Next inhale, draw yourself up, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees deeply. Send the sit bones away from the top of the head. Good. Inhale, straighten through the legs. Keep the heels nice and high. Exhale, lower the heels down. We can play with this flow, or you can walk out your dog. Down dog isn't calling you. You can rest in child's or in puppy pose with the hips stacking over the knees resting to the ground. Stay soft through the hands. So you had a small chocolate underneath the palms that couldn't melt because you weren't touching it there. It's almost like a suction cup. Curl the armpits in towards the ears. Slight bend of the elbows. Take one more round of breath. And settle into your down dog, bending your knees as much as desired. Take an inhale, sweep the right leg high. Exhale, bend the knee. Draw the foot towards the front of the mat, stepping it between the hands. Take an inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, lower the left knee down. You may want to place a blanket underneath that back knee. We'll be here for a while. Good, another inhale. Tuck up onto the fingertips. And then exhale, we stay. Option to use blocks to support underneath the hands if you like a higher positioning. Let's magnetize the inner thighs towards one another. Feel that left hip lift up as you draw the right hip back. We can stay right here. On an inhale, right hand comes up onto the thigh. Exhale, maybe the left hand comes up as well. We lift up through the chest and draw the right hip and left hip back. So we deepen that sensation through the front of the left leg. Soften through the shoulders. And as you hold, notice what thoughts are arising. As you feel into that left hip. Notice if you're rounding and closing in through the chest, can you keep the chest broad? Maybe you play with lifting that left hand up to sky, palm facing towards the right, reaching the middle finger away from the left knee. That oppositional pull of rooting down and rising up. And anchoring back into the breath. One more inhale, reach the fingers if they're lifted. And exhale, soften the left fingertips down to the floor. Release the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe the right foot out towards the right edge of your mat. Good. And then broaden through the chest. Imagine as though that right knee were hugging in towards the right armpit, but at the same time the right knee were moving out towards the right pinky toe. So lots of activation through that leg. Then we stay stable through that left knee, remembering we can add support so that it doesn't feel tender in that joint. And lift up through the head, lengthen the head away from the knee. As you exhale, option to drop your forearms onto blocks, onto pillows, a bolster, or down onto the floor. Finding that same arm variation as we did in Sphinx, with the elbows stacking underneath the shoulders, wrists in line with the elbows, and fingers spread nice and wide. And feel that whole community working together as you feel into this pose. Any releases, any discomforts. How can you sit with it all rather than avoiding parts? Letting your breath be that anchor to keep you here, present with it all. Take a slow exhale. Inhale, if you're down, press into the hands to rise back up. Resetting the hands underneath the shoulders. Then option to point the right toes out towards the right side. Maybe we drop onto the outer edge of the right foot, letting that right knee drop slightly back. And keep lifting up through the front of the left hip. If this is enough, we stay. Or perhaps we root down through the left hand. Finding that suction cup, and then reach up to the inner thigh with the right hand. Pressing the thigh gently and softly, not forcefully, as we open into the right hip. And gaze can stay down at the floor, or we can press back through the right shoulder. Gaze can look back over that shoulder. Imagining as though we had a wall behind us. We can really open up through the heart as we press back through the shoulder blades. Making sure we're not compromising the neck. And maybe tenting back up onto those left fingertips. And feeling the head, feeling the hips, and feeling the heart. And finding your breath. And find that line from the back of the left thigh to the top of the head. Take a full inhale there. As you exhale, gaze draws back to the floor. Let the right foot rest down. Release the right hand. Turn the right toes back to center or if they're out to the side. Plant the hands to the floor. Take an inhale, tuck through left toes, lift up the left knee. And exhale, step the right foot back. Inhale, draw yourself up into a plank. Exhale, tuck the knees down to the floor. Untuck through the toes. Take an inhale, lift the head. As you exhale, bend through the elbows, lower all the way down to the ground. Walk the hands forward, rising up into a sphinx. Turning to that pose we took at the beginning. Wiggle those toes away. Good, and then inhale, send the heart up and forward, root down through the hips. As we hold here, option to bend through the left knee. Drawing that sole of the foot straight up in line with the ceiling. So it's as though we're a pizza tray and that we're carrying that pizza without tipping or tilting it. Left toes point down towards the shin. Take an inhale, looking just between the thumbs. As you exhale, tuck the chin in. Inhale, send the gaze back over the left shoulder. And exhale down to center. Inhale, right shoulder. And exhale, center. And take one more each side. Feeling that front of the left hip root down into the floor as you keep lifting through the chest. Inhale to the right. Exhale, tuck the chin in. Inhale, gaze looks between the thumbs. Exhale, we lower the left foot down. Walk the elbows nice and wide. Stack the right hand underneath the left, forehead releases on top. Full breath in. And sigh it out. And 2 more big breaths here. Just neutralizing, letting go of whatever came up in that sequence. And catch your next inhale, taking the hands underneath the shoulders, tucking through the toes. Shifting your way back through tabletop into downward facing dog. And take an inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees deeply. Find that length through the spine. Inhale, straighten through the legs. Keep the heels nice and high. And exhale, settling in. Inhale, left leg sweeps up to sky. Exhale, bend through left knee, drawing the foot forward. Tuck up onto your fingertips. Inhale, open through the chest. Exhale, drop that right knee down. And setting up your foundation. Going to use supports underneath that right knee. That felt good on the other side. Find activation in all 4 directions, particularly through that left leg. And we can stay and breathe. Or perhaps an inhale takes that left hand up onto the thigh. And exhale, that right hand steps on top. And then we draw our weight back as we lift up through the head. we peel that left hip back, sending the left sit bone towards the right thigh. Softening through the face, let go of any holding or gripping through the jaw. Residing here. Checking in with your internal community. Option to sweep that right hand overhead, keeping the bicep in line with the ear, palm facing towards the left. Lifting that right finger away from the knee. You can feel that opening through the front of the hip. Notice if the shoulders try to sneak up to the ears, settling them back down, hugging the low ribs. Down towards the hips rather than letting that belly flare up. We'll inhale, lift the fingers high. And exhale, soften the hand down to the floor. Release the left hand to the inside of the left foot. And walk the left foot out to the side of your mat. Stay high on the fingertips. And send the chest forward. And breathe here. Root down through that left big toe mountain. Feel how that activates sensations through the legs. Maybe you drop down onto blocks or onto the forearms. And you notice if there's any little members of the community trying to distract you from where you are right now. Perhaps there are thoughts urging you into the past or the future. Perhaps there's tension in your body that you're trying to avoid. Can you use your breath to be present with all of it? Inhale to lengthen from the tip of the head. And exhale to hold. And if you're down, the inhale draws you back up. And exhale. Inhale, option to pivot that left foot out to the side. And then maybe we lean onto the outer edge of the left foot, letting the big toe float up. And stay here, or right hand can rest down to the floor, supporting you. You soften the pressure of the left hand, taking it up onto the thigh. Spread the fingers really wide, offering a passive compression to the thigh, sending that knee away. And maybe we peel back through that left shoulder, taking the gaze over the left shoulder towards the back of the room. And if If you want to ease the pressure off of your right wrist, we can tuck back up onto the fingertips. Maybe you notice how this side feels similar or different than the other. How the head, the hips, and the heart work together to hold you here. Next inhale, gaze comes to neutral. We exhale, roll the left foot down, let the left hand come down to the floor. And point the left toes forward. Take an inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, plant the hands down. Inhale, lift up through the right knee. Exhale, step the left foot back. Inhale, high onto the tips of your toes into a plank. Exhale, lower the knees. Take one more inhale to lengthen as you untuck the toes. Exhale, bend through the elbows, lower the chest all the way down to the floor. Inhale, walk the hands forward, returning to Sphinx. Exhale, settle the hips and the backs of the feet down into the mat. Good. Inhale, let the gaze come between the thumbs. As you exhale, option to bend through the right knee this time. Turning the toes to point towards the shin. Inhale here. As you exhale, maybe the chin tucks in towards the chest. Inhale, option to take the chin over to the right shoulder. And exhale, gaze towards the belly. Inhale, left shoulder. Exhale. One more. Good. Inhale, gaze to neutral. Exhale, release the right foot down. And take an inhale, press the feet into the floor. As you exhale, elbows draw wide. Left hand stacks underneath the right, forehead settles to the earth. Letting go of any effort as you pause. Feeling everything drop down onto your mat. And come together for a clearing breath. Full inhale through the nose. And deep sigh through the mouth. Put the hands underneath the shoulders. And tuck up onto the toes. Press your way back into child's tabletop or downward facing dog. You're joining me in down dog. Inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, bend the knees deeply. Inhale, lift and straighten the leg. Exhale, drop the heels down. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, bend the knees, look between the thumbs. Inhale, walk your way towards the front of your mat. And exhale, forward fold. Finding a comfortable place for the feet. I like to have mine hip width apart, but everyone feels a little bit different in this space. It might feel good to sway the shoulders from side to side, bending your knees as much as you need to release any strain through the back of the legs. Sending your head below your heart, below the hips. Maybe the hands clasp onto the elbows. Maybe you rest in stillness. If it feels too much to be in a full fold, you can come halfway up instead. And we'll release the hands back down to the floor. Inhale, straighten the legs, hands to floor, shin, find a halfway lift as you send the head away from the seat. Exhale, bend the knees, root down through the feet, especially those big toe mounts. Inhale, sweep the hands wide as you hinge through the hips and rise up to stand. Exhale, hands drop down through heart center. Good. Inhale, release the hands wide, sweep them up to the sky. Let the fingertips touch. Maybe gaze looks up, maybe chest lifts. As you exhale, draw the hands in towards the heart, perhaps tucking the chin in towards the chest. Stay stable through the feet. Try to keep your hips in line with the heels. And we'll flow here for 2 more cycles. Not rushing through, feeling yourself float in this space. And stay at the heart, with the gaze to neutral. Take an exhale, bend through the knees, sweep the hands back. Imagine as though there were a block between the thighs, keeping the knees steady and even. Inhale, hands sweep up, straighten through the legs. And exhale, sink in a little bit deeper. Inhale, we rise. Good. Exhale to sink down. This time we stay down through the legs. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Chair pose. Pinky tips draw towards one another as we send our weight back into our seat. Breathing through the shakiness. We feel everything. We notice and observe. Take an inhale to hold. Exhale, see if you can sink a little bit deeper. Feel into the feet. Inhale, straighten the legs. Reach up, fingertips touch. Exhale, send the arms wide as you bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, sigh it out loudly. Inhale, fingertips touch down towards the floor. As we exhale, step the left foot all the way back. Take an inhale to lift and broaden through the chest. Exhale, lower that left knee down. Option to take it onto a support. Good, and you stay here, or inhale, right hand comes up onto the thigh. Exhale, left hand comes up onto the thigh. Inhale, press back, stacking that left hip over the left knee. And hold for a breath. Inhale, maybe left hand sweeps up to sky. Exhale here. Stay for one more. Exhale, left hand lowers all the way down to the floor. Let the right hand release to the inner right foot. Heel toe the right foot all the way to the edge of your mat. And then lots of options here. We've moved through and felt through many of these options earlier. So listening to your body and going where you need. Maybe we stay right here. Maybe we lower the forearms down. Or we can turn those right toes out towards the right and tilt up onto the outer edge of the right foot. Staying here, or setting that left hand to ground into your mat. We float the right hand up onto the right thigh. Maybe we draw that right shoulder back and let the right hand come onto the back or the low back. Good. And we can stay. Reach it up onto those left fingers. And perhaps we bend through the left knee, drawing the heel towards the low back. Keeping those toes pointing down towards the shin. If this is enough, we stay. Or we can clasp onto the outer ankle with our right hand. Then we peel back through the shoulder blades, lift the chest up and forward, hug the low ribs in, and drop out through that right knee. Whatever position you choose, can you stay connected through the head, the hips, and the heart? Can you let that breath be even? And if it doesn't feel even, if it feels really shallow, how can you ease out into a place of full being, full presence, without force? Taking one more inhale here. We'll exhale, let the gaze drop down towards the mat. Releasing the foot, releasing the hand, releasing the right toes down. And then straighten out through the right foot. Root down through the left toes, pick up the left knee, and then turn your way towards the long edge of your mat, adjusting your feet as needed to come into a wide-legged stance. I like to turn my toes slightly in. Rooting the fingertips underneath the chest. We'll take an inhale to lengthen the head away from the seat, and an exhale to fold down. You can stay in neutral, or maybe the hands wander over towards the left foot. Drawing your weight a little more into the toes. You send that left sit bone up towards the sky. Letting go of the head. Take an inhale to lift the chest, walk our hands back to center. And exhale, walk the hands over to the right as you turn back up onto the tips of your left feet, coming into a lunge. Good, inhale, chest lifts. Exhale, press down through the right foot to glide your left foot forward. Forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. And exhale to soften down. Bend the knees deeply. Inhale, sweep the arms wide, rise up to stand. Fingertips touch overhead. Exhale, hands release down through heart. Inhale, sweep the hands. As you exhale, bow forward into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips touch down. This time, right foot steps back. We inhale, lift up through the chest. And exhale, right knee lowers down to the mat. Inhale, setting up the foundation through the feet. Next inhale, left hand can come up onto the thigh. Maybe the right hand joins. Inhale, pull the right hip back over the knee. And exhale, settle here. Option to sweep that right hand overhead. Exhale. Inhale, reach the fingertips high. Exhale, sink in. One more long inhale. And as you exhale, lower the right hand down. Let the left hand join it on the floor. Walk your left foot out to the side of the mat. Steadying through the legs. Opening through the heart. Lifting through the top of the head. And choosing where you wander, choosing where you play. Remembering there's no right option, there's no more difficult option. We feel everything in our body, and our goal is to really trust and listen to all those people chatting. And instead of listening to only one of them, we listen to all of them so that we can feel into our whole self. And we use our breath as that compass, letting the breath stay deep so that we can stay strong. Left toes can point out. Maybe we draw up onto the outer edge of that left foot. Perhaps we tuck down onto that right hand so that we can float the left hand up onto our thigh. Good, breathe here. Maybe we roll open through that left shoulder, checking back up onto the right fingers. And left hand can settle onto the low back. That we really feel that sensation of pressing our back body into an imaginary wall. Keep dropping that left knee out to the side. Maybe that right knee bends, letting the heel come in towards the hip as the toes point down. This can be where you stay, or that left hand can reach back. So we open and breathe. Keep lifting through the front of the right hip. And stay with it wherever you are. let the distractions win you over. Take one more long inhale. And exhale. Inhale, gaze comes down to the floor. Exhale, everything slowly releases, not rushing out. Plant the hands to the floor. We inhale, lift the right knee. And exhale, finding our wide-legged fold. Melting the head down, drawing our weight in towards our toes as we lift the sit bones high. Maybe the hands walk over to our right foot. Notice how it feels to let the head hang below the hips and the heart. And next inhale, hands draw back to center. As we exhale, walk your way towards your left foot, framing the foot. We root down through the left foot, take an inhale, step the right foot forward, and forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift, and exhale, soften in. Returning to our forward fold, we hold here. If we're ready to be on the floor, we can find a variation of this pose with our feet to the ground. We can come back to clasping onto the elbows. Maybe we take the elbows behind our knees. Might feel good to take peace fingers around the big toes. We'll release the hands, take an inhale for a halfway lift. And exhale, softening down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, empty. Time inhale, sweep the hands, rise up to stand. Let the fingertips touch. Exhale, melt the hands in towards the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms wide. As you exhale, wrap the left arm underneath the right, tuck the chin in as the hand coming towards the chest. Inhale, we open up. Gaze can lift, and exhale, right arm sweeps underneath the left. We wrap ourselves in a hug. And inhale, open up. Let the hands sweep up to sky. Exhale, pour down to the floor. Let the feet walk wide, point the toes out. And then sit your way all the way down onto your mat. We take the right leg long. Bend the left knee, keeping left sole of foot to the floor. Hands can come behind you to support as we move into our seated twist. Option 1, left foot stays on the left side. Option 2, we sweep our left foot to the outside of the right thigh. option 3, we bend through the right knee, letting the right ankle or heel settle in towards our hip. And we may want some type of support underneath our sit bones to help us stay nice and even through the pelvis. Let the left fingertips come behind you. And then the right elbow hooks around the left shin. Gaze can stay at neutral. We inhale to lift the head. Exhale, open the chest out towards the left. Remember your options with the legs. If you feel like your left sit bone isn't staying settled into the earth, then maybe you unwind so that that right leg is long or that left leg is on the left side of the right leg. And we want to stay so light through the left fingers that if we were to float them, we still feel fully supported. Evenly stacked through the spine. We draw our head up. We sink our hips down. And we open up through the heart. Option to take the gaze back towards the left shoulder or fingertips. If there's any other variation of the twist that you practice, you're welcome to move there. Stay for one more big inhale. As you exhale, take the gaze towards the front. Walk the hands back to center. And then straighten out through the right leg. We'll bring the right sole of the foot onto the floor as the left ankle crosses over top of the thigh. And then option 1, we stay here, pointing the left toes towards the left knee. Or we can hook our left elbow around the knee, our right elbow around the arc of our foot, interlace the fingers, and lift the leg in towards the chest. Maybe we straighten that right leg. Maybe it stays bent. And if you're playing with the cradle, try not to round through the low back, but stay really long through the spine. Letting that head lift. Feeling that root and rising through the seat. You may sway from side to side or stay in neutral. And then if the right leg is straight, we'll bend that right knee back up. Let the ankle rest back down onto the thigh, releasing the hands behind us. Take a full breath here. Another inhale. As you exhale, unhook the left leg, let it come long as the right sole of the foot walks in. Setting up for the opposite side, and remembering that as much as we like to pretend we are not symmetrical. So feeling what's best in your body and trusting your intuition as you go there. The options are keeping the leg straight or bending into it. Maybe you'd rather take a twist lying on your back instead. That's also there for you. Let the right fingertips walk behind as we hook that left elbow around the shin. Feel down into the hips as you lift up through the head. And open into your twist. Chest really broad. As you draw the shoulder blades together along the back body. bringing out any staleness through the spine, through the abdominal area, and through the rib cage. Stay rooted through that left or right big toe mound. Gaze can look back. It feels accessible through the neck. And feeling your breath from the tip of the nostrils down into the base of the belly. Inhale to rise. Exhale, gaze comes back over the right knee. We unwind through the left arm and lean to the left to lengthen the leg if it's not straightened already. Bend through the left foot and cross the right ankle over the thigh, drawing that right knee away. Figure 4. You can also take this on your back if that feels more comfortable. Pointing the right toes in towards the knee. Maybe this is where you play. Or the right elbow can hook the knee, the left elbow can hook the foot. We interlace the fingers, switching which fingers go ahead of the others. Send the chest in towards the leg in towards the chest. Maybe left leg lengthens down. And rocking or residing in stillness. Gathering that strength in your core to minimize that rounding through the low back. Bending up through the left knee, letting the foot settle to the earth. Releasing the hands. Take a breath here. One more inhale. Exhale, let the leg drop down. Using your hands to support you, you'll come to rest on your back. And the feet walk wide. And drop both knees out to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. And massaging through that low back as you move back and forth. 2 to 3 more rounds. If there's anything else calling you, you can always press pause and move there. Eventually we'll all meet together in a resting position. Soles of feet can come together, soles of feet can come to the floor nice and wide, knees can drop together. Or legs can come long, you can add supports underneath the knees to soften any intensity through the low back. You can always come up to a seat or rest the legs up against a wall. Find a place where you can fully let go. As you drop in, notice where the mind is. And feel into your physical body. Your hips can be your guide. And notice the attachments at the heart. The emotional labels, the shapes, the colors, the visuals. Feeling the wholeness of your breath. Breath feeding and nourishing each component, each member of the community that resides within you. As you sink into your breath, inviting everything to settle. Surrendering your whole back body down to the floor. Your forehead, the fronts of your hips, and the heart space. Feel soft, open, and receptive. And as we learn to adopt this practice of yoga as one of tuning into our inner community, not a place for distraction and separation, but a place of awareness, not a practice of the physical body in itself, but a practice of the whole. As we deepen the relationship with this community within us, we can then transition that knowing into the community that we serve. Showing up as our whole selves, willing to breathe through any discomforts, acknowledge any of those negative patterns of the self in our thoughts, in our physical body, in our mind, in our emotions that we hold. Choose what to let go. You can inhale to thank yourself for showing up with your head, your hips, your heart. And exhale gratitude to all of the yogi ancestors that have developed, brought up this practice, and shared it with you. Traditions working all the way back to the South Asian communities, shaping and shifting over the years. All anchored in community. Another inhale, setting an intention to carry this practice off of your mat into your daily lives. Exhale completely. Remaining here for as long as you need to. And as always, thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. These videos are made through love and hard work. Your contributions allow me to keep sharing new content with you. If you're able to give back financially, please click the Make a Donation button on the homepage of this channel. You're also welcome to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest video offerings. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Don't eat Kona!